So today we're going to be taking a look at something that is not quite car related, but I figured I'd feature it on the channel because it has motors and wheels. And that is the GM Hummer EV bike. So this is a new e-bike, which I am actually not familiar with e-bikes in general. This is pretty much my first hands-on riding experience with one, but so far they are quite cool. Now this is produced by Recon bicycles. They also have other models. However, this one is a GM licensed product available at dealers. And as you can see, it is quite cool. It has some nice design themes from the Hummer EV itself. So I've got the complete feature list in hand. I don't want to miss anything about this bike because it is quite feature packed. But obviously you can see the design is based on the Hummer EV, has the Hummer branding right on it, white and black design theme with the Recon logo up front. They have more Recon branding in the back, but this thing is packed full of features. So it has dual 750 watt motors. So one motor for the front, one motor for the back, which makes it all-wheel drive. It is a top speed of over 28 miles an hour. Of course, it does come regulated at 20, so make sure you follow your local rules and regulations as far as e-bikes go, but it is capable of upwards of 30 miles an hour in certain conditions. It runs off of a 48 volt, 17.5 amp hour or 21 amp hour LG battery, depending on the spec that you get. So there are two different size LG batteries available. It has adjustable front suspension. So you can see there are the shocks. You can be adjusted on top of each one. 4-inch Kenda puncture resistant off-road tires mounted on 26-inch wheels. So this makes them the effective overall diameter about 28 inches, which is quite crazy. As selectable riding modes, you get 3 different ones to choose from, depending if you want only the rear motor, only the front motor, or of course both motors. Weight limit of approximately 350 pounds, and it weighs about 95 pounds, including the battery pack as it sits here. So quite an awesome bike. Now going over some of the other specs on the outside, obviously you get the fender flares included, an LED light up front included, as well as the little rack out back to carry objects. Now they do have accessory options that you can mount to that rack. Overall, you can see that this thing comes with a lot of features. The seat itself is actually quite comfortable. That was something that doesn't necessarily look comfortable, but you can see it has a lot of give to it. It's kind of like a memory foam with a durable neoprene rubber-esque texture. Now a couple other notable features about this bike: it has dual hydraulic disc brakes. There you can see the disc up front. Of course, it has mineral oil up here, dual levers on either side. It has an 8-speed ratio gear selection, so you can pedal it, of course, with 8 different gears. Of course, there's all those beefy tires, crazy tires, definitely meant for more off-road things, but this is very capable on-road if we want to just commute with it, go bring it out to the desert, go off-roading in the mountains with it. Definitely a lot of capability with this bike, and overall, like I said, I'm very excited to try it out for myself. Now, one of the things that I was impressed with as a non-bike person just walking up to this bike was just the overall fit and finish, as well as the feel of the materials. It feels like a very quality build. You have the metal levers for the brakes, and of course you have the gear selection and the nice LCD screen in the middle to control the drive modes, as well as the electric motors, so your pedal assist, stuff like that. So as a whole, I think this is a very durable bike, definitely meant to be used and abused, I guess, on or off-road, and has a lot to offer for the money. Now, one thing I will say is, because this is just a normal kind of steel frame, is it is a little bit on the heavier side of things. This weighs just about 95 pounds, including the battery, like I mentioned. So this is not a carbon fiber or aluminum frame bike, just a traditional steel frame. So it is a little bit on the heavier side of things, but it is very manageable, easy to kind of fit yourself on this bike, find which way is comfortable, and get on to riding. So getting on the bike for the very first time, it's actually very simple to use, even coming from somebody who's never ridden an e-bike or just doesn't ride bicycles often. So starting out on the left, you have your front brake, you have your thumb throttle switch, you have your power button, your plus and minus to change the pedal assist functions, as well as your motor selection. Switching it all the way to the left, that'll engage only the front motor. Switching it all the way to the right, that will engage only the rear motor, and then keeping it in the middle will engage both motors, so that is an all-wheel drive assisted bike. Now, using the plus or minus button, you can change the pedal assist. You can see it goes 1 through 5 here. You can also change it in the menus to go 1 through 3 or 1 through 9. So it kind of just depends on how much variability you want in the pedal assist between each option. But default out of the box, it comes 1 through 5. So on the right, you do have your rear brake as well as your 1 through 8 speed gear selection. So very simple here on the right side. But going back to the screen, there's a lot of menus you can go through to kind of customize this bike to fit your lifestyle best. So taking a look at the screen itself, you have your clock up in the upper left, you have your battery percentage up in the right, as well as your motor selection. So you can see it's set on all-wheel drive or dual motors right now. In the center, you have a big mile per hour, as well as your current power output from the motor. So once you start pedaling or using the throttle assist, you you can see it will change the output of the battery itself. Down the lower left-hand corner, you have your trip, 1.7 miles total on this bike. On the lower right, you have your total odometer. And then in the middle at the bottom, like I said, you do have your pedal assist 1 through 5, or if you change it, 1 through 3 or 1 through 9. So that is basically the screen as a whole. Very easy to read, very easy to distinguish, and there are some settings you can customize, which I'll show you guys here in a second. So to access these settings in the back end of the screen, you basically want to hold down plus and minus for about 5 seconds. This will bring you to the display information exit. So going to display, hitting the power button as the select. You can see you do have trip reset. You can change the units between metric and imperial, change the LCD brightness level, so you can see it's on 100% brightness. Change the auto off, so that's how quickly the bike automatically turns off between sitting unused for a period of time. It comes default out of the box at 5 minutes. You have the assist mode. This is where you can change it from 1 through 3 or 1 through 9. Personally, 1 through 5 works best for me. You have the wheel size. So that's in case you do change the overall diameter of the wheels. You can go ahead and set that in here. Pretty cool, it goes by 1-inch increments. You have the speed limit. So out of the box, this comes set at 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. You can go ahead and set this by 1-mile-an-hour increments. So if you want to bump it all the way up to 30 miles an hour, you can. Again, please follow your local laws and regulations, but that will kind of distinguish how or when the motor assist kicks out and when you kind of have to take over pedaling manually if you want to go faster than the current set speed limit. Below that, you have your light sensor. You have your clock, which you can set the clock for the current time, and then you have a back all the way at the bottom to go back to the other information menu system. So going down to information, you go to battery info. It just kind of shows you the overall battery stats of the battery itself. Shows you some of the display software, controller software. You can check error codes thrown by the bike in the module itself, and then at the bottom there is a back to go back to the main menu. And at the bottom of this menu, there is an exit. So basically, a little bit of customization you can do, but as a whole, it comes pretty much ready to go out of the box with just a few different settings you can tweak. So I'm gonna strap on a GoPro on my head, take this around the lot a few times, kind of feel it out for myself, get it up to speed, see how quick it goes only on throttle applications, and also play with the motor setup, see how it feels with only the front motor assist, only the rear motor assist, and of course, we gotta launch this thing in all-wheel drive, right? So let's go ahead and get the GoPro mounted up and take it for a rip. So to turn the bike on, it just shut off after its auto shut off. Simply hold the power button, like I said, for about 5 seconds. Bike turns on and immediately boots up very quickly. Now you can go ahead and change the pedal assist. It looks like it might default to 1. I'm not sure about that, but that might be a setting that automatically happens. We'll kick it up to 3 right away. Just start pedaling and the motors kick in. It is simply that easy. Obviously you want to be safe with it, so make sure you check around traffic and everything like that. But pedaling up this slight incline, oh, it's a breeze. Doesn't struggle at all. Currently going about 12.5 miles an hour. That is on 3, which is about half assist. And of course, when you stop pedaling, the bike also stops powering you. Now, obviously you can use the thumb throttle right here on the left-hand side. So press that down, motors kick in, bike goes very quickly to accelerate. Use only the assist here. And along with that, you can also change how sensitive the pedal assist is. So here with the thumb throttle, it's on currently pedal assist 3. So that gives you about 60% of the overall power available via the throttle. So if you kick it up to 5, that will also strengthen the assist on the thumb throttle, if that makes sense. So now that the pedal assist is on 5, obviously when you pedal, you're gonna get the full potential out of the motors, but also you're gonna get the full potential out of the thumb throttle on the left-hand side. So if you kick it down to 3, that gives you about 60% throttle on the thumb and about 60% pedal assist. If you go all the way down to 1, which is the lowest power, obviously the pedal assist is going to kick out because we're going quick enough, but you also only get about, 15–20% of the throttle assist. So I'm full throttle right now on one, going 8 miles an hour, and it barely feels like the assist is active. Obviously it's keeping me about 7–8 miles an hour, but we're also going down a slight decline. So that's kind of how the throttle and the pedal assist works, is that they are actually tied together. And to get certain speeds and to get certain assist levels, you definitely have to kick it up to 4 or 5 for its max potential. It maxes out about 5 to 6 miles an hour on level 1. Oh, level 2 immediately kicks it up. Looks like it goes about 11 miles an hour on level 2. Kick it up to level 3. I would assume you get up to 15–17 miles an hour. Man, this thing's a blast to ride. I didn't realize how fun these bikes are. Handles the suspension nice. Going up an incline here, level 3. Not a problem. 14 miles an hour. Looks like you can get up to 15–16, not a problem. So now obviously you guys get the point. Level 4 and 5 even bring up the power and speeds even more. Now we're gonna go ahead and switch into rear motor only because I'm kind of interested about that. Okay, that gives it a totally different dynamic of pedaling. Rear motor, oh, that's still very strong on max power. You can get up to speed, no problems, but obviously you're not using as much energy, so you can go a little bit farther even if you're using the max power level out of that rear motor. Oh yeah, you can get up to 20 mile an hour on that rear motor, not a problem at all. Nice to have dual disc brakes, they work very well. Now I want to try front motor only, see how that feels. Oh yeah, that's definitely makes sense as to why the front motor only for traction purposes. And again, max power front motor, you should be able to no problem do 20 miles an hour on assist only. Yeah, this bike is very cool. Level 3 is kind of where it gets a little bit less. Obviously you can go about 10 mile an hour assist only, but any lower than level 3, it definitely gets a little bit low on the assist side of things. But then that's where you go ahead and change your gears. Obviously we're riding around in about gear 4. Change it down to 3. Crank this thing up to level 5. Oh, you can rip this thing, man. Yeah, definitely going up to the higher gears with the assist. Put it back in dual motor mode. Oh, 2,000 watts. Oh man, this thing is crazy quick. Now I will say you got to be careful on the higher power levels because once you start pedaling, there is a delay. So it kicks in, stop pedaling, there's a small like 1–2 second delay. So you got to be careful when riding these things. But why don't we do a launch and see how this thing launches? 3, 2, 1. Oh, it spun the front tire. It spun the front tire. Oh, that is hilarious. I'm having a little bit too much fun, I think, but wow, that is crazy. That is crazy. And this is a little bit uphill even. Man, this is crazy. 3, 2, 1, launch. Okay, 0, okay, that's nuts. That is a little bit nuts. 0 to 15 in like no seconds at all. Wow, okay. All right, I think that's gonna call it. Hopefully you guys get the gist of how this thing works now. Very cool bike, very impressive. Rides great, very comfortable, super powerful. Not much else to say. Crazy bike, definitely be careful on it. Follow your local rules and regulations. We'll turn back down to 1. Definitely an impressive bike, to say the least. So now you guys might be wondering, how much does this bike cost? Well, e-bikes in general are not cheap, and this one is no different. However, it is an extremely good value according to the people I've talked to about this bike, with some of the features, options, parts, the fact that it's all-wheel drive dual motor. It just has a lot of quality to it for a $4,000 starting price. Now that comes with the smaller 17.5 amp hour battery. If you want the larger battery, that'll run about $4,200 and some change. So really a good value. This bike will go up to 40 miles if you're only using a single motor, lower pedal assist levels. Obviously that goes down to 25, 30 miles of range if you're using both motors, and higher assist levels. But as a whole, this is a very good value. Obviously I had a very fun time riding it. Glad I got the opportunity. And I guess if I'm shopping for an e-bike in the future, this is definitely one that I would put on my list, because personally I do like kind of more off-road oriented bikes in general, kind of mountain bike style of bikes. So this is definitely one that I would like and prefer rather than like a road going bike, but this is definitely a dual purpose bike. So if you have a long commute, say 10, 20 miles, I think this bike could do it, especially if you could charge at your workplace. So definitely a cool bike for sure, and one I would definitely recommend checking out if you're in the market for a new mountain e-bike. Now, if you happen to be local to the Quad Cities, Illinois or Iowa side of things, so Western Illinois, Eastern Iowa, you can actually come right here to Green Buick GMC in Davenport, Iowa. You see the dealership right here. They'll have these in stock, or should be in stock, assembled, ready to go on the showroom floor. So if you want to take immediate delivery, you can come take delivery in person, pre-assembled, ready to go right off the showroom floor. But either way, if you're interested, make sure to check these bikes out because they are quite a blast. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video or found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button. It really helps out these videos and the channel. Make sure to subscribe if you guys are not already subscribed, and check out some of the other content I have available on the channel, including videos here to be on this Ioniq 5. So excited to have an EV here in my possession, as well as an EV bike. I mean, what are the odds of that? Just getting to experience all these things has been quite a fun ride, and hopefully you guys are here to stick around. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for the support. And as always, make sure to check out some of the videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.